About Oaths and Constitutions. July 17, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Americans, being lawful persons living under a public law that uses the Ten Commandments as its basis, don't take oaths. As a quick look in any edition of the Geneva Bible will prove, all the indictments against persons are self-evident, so we instead act as people. This does not mean that everyone else worldwide chose our path and made this distinction, far from it. There are numerous other governments and indeed, entire jurisdictions of law, that operate exclusively of, for, and by persons, not people. I have often observed that the international and global jurisdictions of law operate exclusively using persons and that even our lawful persons known as people, with a capital P, are unincorporated fictional entities. There are no living people of any kind operating in any international or global jurisdiction. These are literally the realms of the dead. Americans, alive or dead, operating as living people or as lawful persons, either one, don't take oaths to anything. Because of the biblical injunctions against it, we offer only public acknowledgments known as affirmations of office instead, in which a successful candidate or appointee formally and in public accepts the duties of their office and promises to discharge the public duty to the best of his or her ability. All the oath-taking occurs from the other lane, or, if you like to think of it, the other side of the fence, in the realm of our other public employees, who work for us indirectly via delegation of our powers to the British monarch and the Pope. British territorial merchant seamen and admiralty and maritime judges and military officers and inductees of all stripe all take oaths to their working contract, the Constitution of the United States of America, because nothing is more sacred to them than their paycheck and basis of authority. Because their law, federal code, has nothing to do with the true God, they willingly take oaths and think nothing of it. Ditto the Federal Civil Service. You might think of them as a third lane on the highway of life and death, with the living people in the right lane and the dead persons running along in the opposite two lanes. The way is wide and easy for them. They even have a passing lane. They take oaths to their rice bowl, the Constitution of the United States, and think nothing of it. Other than being their meal ticket and source of their purported authorities, why should they take the Constitution seriously? They have redefined and evaded their duties owed under the constitutions for years, and successfully bilked their American employers for generations, simply by redefining Americans as federal citizens and conferring such citizenship responsibilities upon the slumbering herd. Meanwhile, the Americans have slept on, unaware of all the guile and deceit lurking behind the facade of the federal government, and have readily accepted the supposed authority of these foreign corporations and their private courts and their practice of taking vain oaths, falling into line and pursuing these same practices like so many lost ducklings despite Matthew chapter 5 verses 34 to 37. Hello? All you Christians working for the governmental services corporations out there? Taking oaths, are you? It has lately become the rage for all sorts of well-meaning people to go on YouTube and film themselves taking all sorts of patriotic oaths. They are blindly, innocently, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, which is a futile act of a serf subjecting himself to a liege lord, and in this case, subjecting themselves body and soul to a borrowed flag being abused by the British Crown Corporation, or, like General Michael Flynn, reciting the military oath to protect and defend against all enemies both foreign and domestic. Americans acting in their capacity as Americans don't take oaths. It's only when they cross over the line and take service with the foreign governmental services corporations that they take oaths. And if Americans did take oaths, they would certainly not take oaths to anything as venal as an employment contract, that is, to any constitution. Yes, my children, that is really all that a constitution is. It's a services for hire contract that sets forth who or what is providing the service, the limitations they have when providing that service, and who pays for the service. It's not some sacred cow and it's not the source of your rights. All the rights discussed in the Bill of Rights attached to the constitutions don't scratch the surface of your natural and unalienable rights as a living man or woman, and those rights don't come to you from the hands of men, but from the hands of your Creator, the living God. No, the Bill of Rights should be renamed as the Bill of Guarantees, because this is what is contractually guaranteed. And you haven't even enjoyed that much of your inheritance, because your shiftless foreign employees have endeavored to mistake you as one of them, and to wage surreptitious war against you and among themselves for the better part of 2 centuries. Wake up, my dears, wake up. The alarm bells are ringing. Take no oaths at all and instead commune with the living God within you. Links to Anna's articles and resources can be found in the video description box. Thank you for subscribing, liking and sharing.